Hey, what's up, players? This is Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and right now we're getting ready to have a six-pack challenge match with Potsy and Tino on the Big Podcast Show. Holla at a player.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest show! And if you're not at Jack's, you understand what we mean. You looked like you were a Barnum and Bailey's, what do they call them? Carnival barker?
The lion tamer. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so it's the Potsy and Tino show. This is Tino. I'm Potsy.
Make it. I can't.
No, it's right here. It's on this one. See the green light?
I don't have to sit that close to you. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
All right. Sorry, I got two cameras here, and for some reason, one of the cameras doesn't want to get Tino.
Yeah, please. My beard itches is growing in. I got to shave. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Our theme song is always brought to you by Adam's House Cats, called The Wrestling Song.
This is the greatest show!
No, it is not. It's called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. Thank you to Teddy Long for introing us.
Player.
It's time for a six-pack challenge match. Player. Holla, holla. Right?
Holla.
Teddy, we love you. Thank you for that. You can follow him on Twitter at HootieFan91. On Instagram, SCTino. Me, Potchak on Twitter, at Rob Potchak on Instagram, and of course on YouTube at Rob Potchak. So lots of stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling over the past 7 days or so. But before we get to that, we always like to do this little topic we call
What's up with you?
What's up with you? So Tino.
Nothing.
What?
I'm like.
You went to the beach Tuesday.
Yeah, we went to the beach Tuesday, and we ended up staying the night. So we were there Tuesday, stayed the night, went to the beach a little bit Wednesday. Yeah. Well, because the whole point of it was when we went Tuesday, I was looking at the temperatures. Temperatures supposed to be like in the 90s.
Which made it the greatest show!
It was the greatest show! But the heat index... The heat index was supposed to be like triple digits, like 105, 106. I'm like, I'm not having a heat stroke. We're going to find a hotel, so if I get too hot, I'm going to find some AC. Because my wife won't leave the beach. She'll sit there and slap up. I'm like, not the kid. I will meet you back at the hotel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we had hotel stay the night. We went and had a nice seafood dinner. We hadn't done that in a while. It was good. And then we went back to the room and went to sleep, got up next morning, went to the beach for another hour or so and drove back. No, not an hour, but we went to the beach. It was good. We got there about 10. We left about 2, so it was about 4 hours.
Did you play any shows?
No, not yet. I don't have another show till the 8th, and I'm back in Hickory again. So then we came back. I went back to the day job. We dropped Haley. Had to take Haley's stuff to school. So
Not Haley.
And
she didn't want to help, so she stayed home.
No, she helped. So we loaded up the cars and we went and took her stuff and got her set up. And so 2 weeks, that's when she'll actually go back. When she goes back into school, though, we're not allowed. Nobody can go with her, so she's gonna be by herself. So we took.
So funny that they let you go to drop the shit off.
But yeah, but when she comes,
when she goes to school,
so whatever she's got to take, she's got to unload and load, bring it in herself. So we try to get the majority of the big stuff in. So all she's really got now is like her TV and clothes, because she didn't take any of her clothes and shoes. And like, good luck with that, because I'm not helping you move all that. Because no, she's gonna be 20 next week.
You don't want to look at her clothes.
Shoes,
no, because then you see the underwears and stuff.
See that? I don't want to see that.
Because you probably do the laundry.
I was folding laundry one day. I was putting mine on. Like, what is this? I'm like,
Nicole, this ain't yours. Better not be Matthew's.
Wow.
If it is, that's on him. But
So what's up with you, fool?
quite a bit. You know, you had a pretty
dull week.
Pretty lackadaisical week.
Yeah.
So my week was pretty dull all the way up until like
Sunday.
Well, Friday, because Friday I drove down to South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
And I spent the weekend with my sister and brother-in-law. We did the Pokemon Go Fest. Paid the $15 to sit there and try to catch all the extra Pokemons and stuff, and that was fun. Except the damn game crashed like uncontrollably, Tino, the first day. So like my sister was like, I'm gonna dispute the charge. And you know Shorty. She'll do it. So that there was that. Then I spent the weekend down there at their South Carolina place, which at some point you guys are gonna have to come down.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Not everybody, just Tina.
Well, she texted me when I was on the beach. I sent out
right.
pictures.
And she said about 2 hours.
Yeah, that's what she said.
You're about 2 hours away.
No, she asked me how far. I said because then I looked at it. I did Waze. I'm like Myrtle Beach, and it said 2 hours from where we were. I said 2 hours. She said darn.
Yeah, exactly. Because they would have come and visited you, I'm sure. So, because my sister loves the beach. So then, you know, we went to a place called Luigi's, which is like my favorite restaurant in Myrtle Beach, which is a Italian restaurant.
I thought it was that on Chinese with a name like Luigi's. Of course, it's Italian. Anyway, this is the greatest show.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, we're looking out for you. So we went to Luigi's. They sat us next to another group, like directly next to us. So of course my sister is really all about the 6 foot social distancing thing. Obviously we're not. So although Tino's actually sitting about 4 feet behind me, you can't see it, but he is. No, he's not. But stop that, fool. So anyways, we ended up moving our seats, and my sister talked about it for the rest of the dinner, which is always fun. But then on my way back, Sunday was super busy for me. Okay, because I had to drive back from Myrtle Beach. We had the second day of the Pokemon Fest before that. So from 10 until like 12, I was doing nothing but trying to do the whole Pokemon Fest. Mm-hmm. Then I started driving back at like 1 o'clock. When I got back into Raleigh, Durham, I had to. I logged in and was part of a Fayetteville Comic-Con panel with myself, the host of the panel, and the former. And the only other person on it was the former editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics.
Wow.
And so they had been talking for like 30 minutes when I finally joined in. So for like the last 30 minutes, it's just me, the former editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, and the host of the panel. And I'm like, why am I on this? Like could we not get anybody else? Like, but it was super cool. Like I'm super excited that I got to be part of this. Seriously, want to thank Fayetteville Comic Con once again. Also thank Keith Gibbs, who set it up, and Jim Shooter, the former editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics, because when they started asking like how do you develop a story, how do you like pick and choose like who you're gonna, you know, do you write for the villain, do you write for the hero, all this stuff, like he was just super complimentary of like my answers on it. So I was like, this is
nice.
Really cool.
Nice.
Because he kept going, why am I even talking? Because that guy knows everything. And I'm like, I'm a nobody. You're the former editor-in-chief of Marvel. Like, you are the reason why the black costume of Spider-Man ended up becoming Venom, kind of thing, right? Like that's what I was talking about with him. And then immediately after I got done that, San Diego Comic-Con, so Comic-Con at Home, had the Keen Spot panel, which we had filmed a couple weeks ago, blast on at 6 o'clock in the evening. So I was part of that because I was the host of that. I got to interview everybody, talk about all the different projects coming up. And then on top of all of that, I also launched our Indiegogo platform. our crowdfunding for the Junior High Horrors All Ages Coloring Book, which right now, folks, you can go on to Indiegogo.com, go to the search, click Junior High Horrors, and it will pull up our program, and you can help by donating anything you want to the project to get it funded. If you pick one of the perks and you fund that, you will get that perk after it's been fully funded. It truly helps us out because we want to continue making Junior High Horrors products. Eric and I are talking about it constantly. It's all over our social media. Like, it's going to get annoying on our social media. We're going to talk about it constantly.
Nice.
Tino actually said that he would match any offers that come up to... No, he did not. But maybe by the end of tonight, we can get Tino to match one of the offers. Really?
It depends on how much it is. I'm broke.
Well, I mean, it goes for 30 days, so maybe those stimulus checks
will kick in.
Will come in,
and then we'll talk
before we. But
no, seriously, I will. I'll go in and donate something.
But folks,
awesome.
A lot of people think Indiegogo is a publisher. It is not. It is a crowdfunding platform, which means we put the product up there, like Boy Scouts selling popcorn. You pick the popcorn you want, so you pick the perk you want. You fund that, and then that money goes to the actual funding total to then have the product made. That's how it works.
I'll look at it. I'll go in there and check it out.
So
I want a perk.
So you definitely do.
Yes.
Earlier tonight, a friend of the show, Matthew Torres, went ahead and put in for a perk of 5 copies going to a local children's hospital.
That's awesome.
So that was awesome. Super thankful of that. Also thankful to everybody else that's already put in for perks on it. A lot of them are so that you can get the product, but if you don't want a coloring book, it's not a big deal. You can still go ahead and get like the one for the children's hospital. So that really helps us out. And like I said, every dollar of that goes towards getting the product made so that way we can ship it out to you and have it all done. So Tino, it's the first time I've done it.
That's awesome.
It's freaking me out because I'm not used to begging people for money.
Yes, you are.
Well, I'm not Jerry Lewis. I'm not Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis. Great balls of fire! It's a reality show! You can tell we've known each other for way too long. And we're going to get to why we keep saying that. And it's not because of the Randy Orton versus Edge match, though there was news about that earlier this week, actually. So, let's go ahead and jump right in.
Let's do it.
We've already talked about us.
So you want to talk about the thing you texted me?
So, all right. Last thing about us before we jump into the pro wrestling talk.
Well, you said you wanted to. Just remind me.
Well, I think it's a great idea.
All right. Well.
So earlier today, I sent Tino a text message with my next comic idea. And it takes a bunch of different ideas from all over the place, but it really does focus on a pro wrestler ending his career as like the main character. So Tino, was it a good idea?
I think it's a good idea. I think it's a real good idea.
Now, do you only think it's a good idea because you're a pro wrestling fan?
No, because if it goes the way you think it'll go and you want it to go, I want in on it. I already told you that.
So I've already explained the idea to a bunch of people, and it's pretty much God, I don't want to break it down because I don't want anybody to steal the idea.
Yeah.
But I'll put it this way: my publisher, for the first time ever, and he'll say this wasn't the first time ever because he's probably said it to other people, but first time to me, said that he really liked the idea. Like the direct quote was, "I really like it," and he's never said that to me. He's normally like, "If you think it'll sell, I'll sell it." Okay. This time he was like, "I really like it,"
because it's a good idea.
And then I said, "It sounds like the perfect idea for a sci-fi movie, Sci-Fi Channel, SYFY." And he goes, "That's exactly what I was thinking." So it really is, and our wrestling group all seems to agree that the idea of it really does seem to be something that could be something serious. And I've written some good stuff. I've already written like the first 6 to 8 pages of this treatment, but the concept and everything, like I wrote that out,
amazing.
and it really
That's amazing.
really was pretty good. It's got action, it's got comedy, it's got wrestling in it, which we love. And one other person actually asked, "Do you think that it would be something that is going to be specifically towards the wrestling fans?" And I said, absolutely not. The wrestling side of it only takes up a small portion, but it really makes you
sets up the background.
It makes you understand the character, and as such, I think if this was taking place before John Cena had his first big break in a AAA movie, I would have thought that John Cena would have been the perfect actor for it. Now I'm thinking that Adam Copeland / Edge or Chris Jericho would probably be the perfect guy to take this and really run with it. I guess that also means that someone like a Kurt Angle could do it. I originally the whole idea was based around a guy that I would see being like the Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, but and we discussed this too off air, and you kind of like I think if he got in better shape, I think for some of the comedic stuff, I think Mick Foley really would.
Oh yeah. And we love Mick.
Yes.
Like we also know that Mick's body is the way that it is, and it's not going to change. And he made a 25-year career.
I also threw Taker out there.
Yeah, you threw Undertaker in there. Now granted, I think Undertaker's too big.
Sting.
Yeah, I could see Sting doing it. I could see Sting. You threw out Randy Orton. I'd say no to Randy Orton. He still looks too young.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the
idea.
idea.
We were just throwing out wrestlers. I was like, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one?
Well, and that's just it. Like throwing a Hogan out in the idea.
You threw Hogan out.
Well, but Hogan would have been the guy during like the NWO days. Yeah,
but I think Hogan should have played that role in the wrestler instead of Mickey O'Rourke, because I think that's what they based that character on.
Sure, absolutely. And actually, one of the other people said Mickey Rourke, and I said, well, Mickey Rourke's not an actual wrestler, and part of it I would really like to see at this would be very similar to the very beginning of Highlander, where you actually have Michael Hayes and the Freebirds actually wrestling a match right at the beginning. Okay. And as such, the person, and if you're watching, Adam Copeland, Edge, I know that you got a movie coming out. We think you'd be perfect for this. So have your people call our people. Our people are us. Or me.
And you can reach us on this channel because this is the greatest show!
This is the greatest show!
We're going to get a cease and desist.
Wait, yeah, just broadcasting. We're just going to get told not to broadcast ever again. But no, it's
seriously though, that'd be a good role.
It's a fun idea, and like if it goes the way that I expect it to in the writing process, then it is going to be perfectly lined up to be an hour and 40-minute movie on Sci-Fi Channel, all the way up to an actual blockbuster film, depending on who's actually starring in it. I joked that if I could get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to produce it, then John Cena would actually star in it. So, and that would ultimately be the goal. But I will settle for a wonderful performance by Haven's own Adam Copeland.
Oh, you would settle for it?
Yeah, I would settle for it. I would beg for it. But
let's go to wrestling before you get in trouble.
Yeah, let's before I never get to work with Adam Copeland. Yeah, come back soon, Edge, please.
He turned you off when you said you settled.
Yeah, I settled by begging for him. So let's start with NXT.
All right.
Okay, we've got a list of different things. We know that normally when we're not in the same room, we can put the topics up there for you. Tonight, the first topic that we're going to talk about is going to be NXT versus AEW last week.
And it didn't come up on Facebook Live, by the way.
So I wonder where we're at. I don't know where we're at. I don't know what we're live on.
It didn't come up, so.
Are we live on my Facebook?
We're not live on any Facebook.
We're not live on anything. You sure?
I would have gotten the whenever you go live on Facebook, I'll get the either Potsy and Tino show or Rob Potsy Potchak. I'll get the
yeah, you're right. We I don't know where we are then.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're
on YouTube.
We might be on YouTube.
We might be just be on YouTube this evening.
We might be.
Are we even sure we're on anything? Are we recording?
It definitely says we're streaming on something. I just don't know what.
Oh well.
Well, here we'll go ahead and we'll pull up the old YouTubes.
We're doing.
Yeah, we're totally boring everybody at the moment. We apologize for that. We'll jump right back in. Oh, we are live on the YouTube
Okay,
tonight.
we're on YouTube. All right, we're live somewhere.
We are live on the YouTube. Don't know if we have any questions or anything coming up. So you know what? Hold on a second.
What is that?
That is That sounds like either a baby crying or an ambulance. What is that?
I think we know what baby crying.
Yeah, but why would there be a baby crying? There is someone parked right out front of the house. But I'm trying to pull up the restream chat, folks, so that way, if you are chatting with us, we'll be able to look at it. Give me just 1 second.
Because this is the greatest show.
It's about to be the greatest show. It's not the greatest show at the moment because obviously we're BSing.
No, you are. I don't even see us anymore.
Well, that's because
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're good. We're good on the live broadcast. We're still there. All right, so folks, if you are chatting with us, we apologize. Oh, I think it just pulled up. Hold on. Yay! The chat pulled up.
All right. Nobody's chatting with us. Okay. We got one.
Yes, we got one chat. It was from me.
That's for you.
Yeah. So, all right, we want to talk about NXT versus AEW this week. Once again, AEW crushed NXT in the ratings. Crush. What did you like about both?
I do like that when Taz was in the ring, he did come out and say pretty much what you said. Him and Brian Cage did have a heated discussion, and Brian Cage was pissed at him for throwing in the towel, like you said he would be. But then Taz explained himself, and Brian Cage understands he is still the FTW champion, so he let it slide.
The FTW champion. So I listened to a bunch of Busted Open Radio this week with Bully Ray, and they were talking about the FTW championship, and apparently a lot of wrestling fans are getting upset whenever they bring back ECW stuff.
Why?
Well, because it's almost 30 years ago at this point. So it does make you wonder, like, why they would and what's up, C. Woodard? He's in the chat. He said
Hey yo.
Like our good friend Scott Hall. Sorry, totally throwing me off there. But yeah, so a lot of people are getting upset at the fact that they're still going back to ECW because that was the heyday of pro wrestling for us, And today, Bully Ray was talking about the fact that, like, those wrestling fans.
Hey, Potsy.
What's up, Chris Barrett? So he was talking about how those wrestling fans are now over 50 years old in a lot of cases.
Okay.
And because of that, they're the has-beens, right? Whereas,
but what was old is new again, though. You know what I mean?
well, but
because you've got to come. I mean, you got Jericho is what is old, what's new. I mean, they're constantly reinventing themselves.
Well, but he's reinventing himself, but bringing back the FTW Championship is not reinventation. And I just made up a word there.
Yeah.
Reinvention of itself. It's totally bringing back something that died,
okay,
if you will.
Okay, but all their TNT title, all that is a television title renamed. You know that, right?
It's their television title.
Yeah.
And it's a new broadcast. Obviously, it's a new title. It's got a lot of people that don't like the looks of it. Whatever.
But they're bringing
however,
old back.
Yeah, but is he going to defend it?
He's defending it every week.
No, Taz.
Oh, the FTW
and Brian Cage.
No.
So far, he was handed a championship. Raven is no has-been. I'd never tell Sandman. Chris,
What did he say?
he says that Raven is no has-been, Sandman's no has-been because you wouldn't tell him that he's a has-been, but Sabu is a has-been.
Sabu is homicidal, genocidal.
ECW-sidal.
Break his neck sidle and still wrestle.
He'll break your neck sidle.
Yeah.
But and I agree to a degree, but when you look at Raven and the Sandman, they definitely had their best days behind them.
Sandman was a prototype of the Stone Cold character. I always the beer drinking,
coming down through the crowd. Yeah, totally getting people to sing the theme song before everybody else.
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing with Jericho now.
Well, but that's because Jericho actually wrote and sang his theme song.
I still think that's the coolest thing, dude.
I mean, if I were a pro wrestler, I would want my theme song sung by everybody, but I would actually want to write my theme song. Like, that's just something I would want to do.
And Chris Jericho got to do that.
And he got to do it. Although he didn't get to do it in WWE, and he wasn't even the singer of his theme song in WWE.
What I don't understand WWE now, and it's just kind of off topic, I'm going back and watching old WCW, why are they playing Break the Walls Down when he's in WCW?
Well, because they don't have the rights to
that crappy one
Turner random music number 32 or whatever he says it was in his Sandman could go win the TNT title from Cody Rhodes. Chris, I would be blown away if Warhorse were to win that TNT championship from Cody Rhodes. He's the guy that's going up against it this week. And it's because so many people wrote in saying we want Warhorse that Warhorse is getting the opportunity.
I think I've never heard his Warhorse, so I gotta check that out.
You gotta check him out.
Yeah.
He's all over YouTube. Now, a lot of people don't think that he really has a chance, and he's not under contract, so guess what?
He doesn't have a chance.
He doesn't really have a chance unless they sign a contract before the match happens. So who won last week, Tino? We know who won the ratings. We know that AEW won the ratings. Was AEW a better show than NXT?
Last week, no, because I think they had so much. I mean, they kicked it off with Keith Lee giving up his North American title. I was entranced with the whole Killian Cross just dominating
Carrying
Cross. I'm sorry, dominating them and just daring Keith Lee to come in the ring.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that entire story is Rocky IV.
With Drago and Rocky.
Yeah, it's you got Apollo Creed, Dijakovic, sitting there saying, "I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take him down. I'm going to do all this stuff," and
he wouldn't quit because the referee, and he kept telling Keith Lee, "Don't come
in the ring," which is exactly what Apollo Creed did in Rocky IV, right?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, the whole story so far is Rocky IV, except Dijakovic didn't die.
Yeah.
So, which is good.
And Karrion Kross didn't say, "I will crush you."
Crush you. He might say that actually, and if he doesn't, Scarlett keeps going, like that.
Oh, and pray, which I don't get.
Well, that's the song.
Cuddy will never accomplish Dusty was a.
Well, a lot of people, so going with what Chris Barrett's comment there is, I will say that one of the things that I've seen, Chris said that Cody will never live up to Dusty, and he's not not as relatable of a person.
So are you saying that he doesn't have charisma like Dusty, or and I'm just asking a question. I'm trying to understand what you're getting at, because I do believe he's right on that point. Dusty just had charisma. He had that it factor that, and Cody's kind of like Cody has some, but he has some charisma.
Cody's got it, but Cody's a natural heel.
He's nowhere near Dusty.
And he's a natural heel who does all this stuff to be a babyface. Like when I met him, one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He's like, he actually did a spot for our podcast, and then when he got done, he said, if it's not good enough, find me after the show, and I will re-record it in a quiet area to make it good. And I was like, no, I think it's perfect. We're good. Which is just awesome, you know. Like what other guy's gonna do that? No one else is gonna sit there and say, hey, I'll let you backstage. You can get another one. It's not going to happen. At the same time, when you see him, you still get that like he's still got that smug look, like he's dashing Cody Rhodes still.
And I'm trying to figure out. I mean, right now he is. Is it because he's Cody that he's getting over as a face? Because he's still. If you watch Cody now, he still has his moments, and he had that moment this past week where he just snapped and just broke rules. He was hitting him with the weight belt. He was throwing them all around. He snapped.
Well, it was a no disqualification match, so he was allowed to do that.
Okay.
But at the same time, he also was the one that got put through the thumbtacks. You know, so he took his medicine. You know, like he took the medicine this week.
I wasn't expecting those thumbtacks either.
Oh man!
I didn't think he was going to. I thought Kingston was going to do it.
Yeah, I thought Eddie Kingston was going to be the one that did that. And all right. So Chris Barrett says Dusty had that personality where you could walk up to him and at the grocery store and he would be the American dream. And you're absolutely right. But I think, Chris, that the world has kind of changed where now they don't have that ability to just be a guy at a grocery store ever. Whereas I think Dusty Rhodes in his hometown, everybody would be like, "Oh, it's just Dusty. Go ahead and let him shop." You know.
But I also think that part of what Cody, because AEW is trying to bring back that old school wrestling feel, that old school NWA feel. Part of me wants to say that maybe he's trying to keep the kayfabe. He's trying to, like Ric Flair, they would stay in character. Undertaker stayed in character. Maybe.
Yeah, you'd never see the Undertaker at a Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if some of these people, because even like MJF is an asshole. MJF. What did I say?
You said MJF.
MJF is an asshole.
You were talking about like Miller Genuine Draft.
Yeah. He's an asshole on Twitter. He's an asshole at all times.
What?
That's him staying in character. I think they're trying to keep that kayfabe over to AEW.
Well, I think with MJF, like, when they finally turn him babyface, I think he's going to do the same thing, except go super babyface, right?
Like The Rock.
Well, except it's a little bit different because, like Bully Ray called him out on it, and he
called who out on it?
On MJF.
Okay. But
in a good way. He is the consummate heel.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So when he's doing a signing, if a kid in a wheelchair comes up, he sits there and says, "You got to get up and walk to me if you want me to sign your stuff." And he doesn't mean it. He's gonna sign the shit.
He's just being
the heel. Yes, I totally agree with you, Chris. Cody is not the common man by any way, shape, or form. He is the epitome of a second-generation wrestler who was given some of the stuff to get to where he was. However, the big difference there is that he went from being MJF is this generation's Rick. I wish, because I don't think we'll ever have a Rick Rude again, but he's probably close. But Dusty had to build up everything he had based on the fact that he really was the common man. He was an average dude who made everything work. He knew that he had to work harder than everybody else. He knew that he had to drive harder than everybody else. Whereas Cody because Dusty was working for the WWE, was kind of given that silver spoon at the beginning. And when he realized that that silver spoon would only get him so far in that company, he left knowing that he might be down here only to get himself back up there. And now he's in the same position as Triple H in a company that he started.
Well, I mean, then you look at
And the Young Bucks the same thing.
You look like at a Randy Orton too. Randy Orton is second generation.
And Randy Orton knows that he was given everything.
Yes, but why,
and he's kind of buying into it right now.
Yeah, but what's the difference in a Randy Orton second generation and
third generation,
and a or even a Rocky Maivia, or you know what I mean?
Well, again, all those guys think because, and the way that Vince looks at them is as they come in, they're supposed to be the babyface, and as a babyface, Randy Orton fizzled out. John Cena fizzled out. The Rock fizzled out. It wasn't until they actually went heel that they finally started being able to put their own persona into things, which in almost all of their sets.
Well, you got to be a hot heel to be a hot babyface.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get white hot as a heel to make that.
The only guy that wasn't was like Goldberg.
Yeah.
Goldberg was white hot because they used a new method to get him over, which was he's going to beat everybody.
Agreed.
So, but look at Dustin compared to Cody. Dustin is more like he is, and you're absolutely right. Except Dustin never really had the same type of build in his career as Dusty, and it wasn't until he actually wanted to do everything unlike Dusty that he was able to get himself over.
I was about to say that was the difference. He had to totally cut that relationship off to get over like he did. When he was a natural Dustin Rhodes in WCW. He wasn't that over. It wasn't until he hit Goldust.
Yeah, it wasn't until they basically said we want you to be an androgynous character, and he was like, I'll do whatever.
And totally got rid of that Rhodes name and did it his way, and then he comes back to the Dustin Rhodes, and it's like you said.
Well, at this point, he's over no matter what.
Yeah.
But the fact that he is now a 50-year-old man doing DDP yoga and in better shape than he was in when he was Goldust is quite saying something. Piper could heel as a babyface better than he could be a normal, without a doubt. And you know, Piper today would be a CM Punk character, without the talent in the ring. Piper was never, and you know, his best match ever was Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't think anybody will dispute that, but I don't think that Piper ever would have been looked at as one of the top 10 guys in the ring. And
like for the title.
What's funny is in the 80s, with the character that he was the main event. You know, I mean, like look at WrestleMania 2. He was the main event. You know,
I'm thinking when I say main event, I'm thinking title.
Sure. So we've kind of gotten off topic, Chris. I appreciate all of the ability to sit here and talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. Like anytime.
I love the comment.
Anytime we have comments, we would love to.
We can sit and do this with you all night.
We really can. Tino, you did watch SmackDown.
I did watch SmackDown. There's a couple things that bounced off the screen at me, and you didn't get to watch it. One of the main things is that they had a.
I'm jealous of Chris Barrett. He was at Mania 8.
Which,
by the way, Chris was probably noted as one of the worst. I'm sorry, that was Carson. Carson was at WrestleMania 8. Probably noted as the worst Mania. But yet, I still haven't been to one, so you're better than me. I was at SummerSlam. What year were we at SummerSlam?
Yeah, we were at SummerSlam. We were,
We were at SummerSlam the year of the first Tables, Ladders, and Chairs tag team match.
Yep.
That's when we were there. So,
they had a fatal 4-way for #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship.
Okay, so who won?
You gotta know who was in it first.
Okay, who was in it?
Shorty G.
Okay, so he won. Damn it!
Drew Gulak.
Okay.
And 2 of the Lucha House Party.
Oh, you know what? Chris Barrett's absolutely right. WrestleMania 2000, while it had a great cast of characters, was probably the worst. However, the second best video game for wrestling ever made.
Oh,
Yeah, right behind No Mercy. So, who was in it? Drew Gulak, Shorty G. Who were the other two?
You sure you ready for
Hit me.
Lucha House Party?
Both of them?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So for the Intercontinental Championship,
The #1 contender.
you would think that it'd be Drew Gulak that won that match.
You would think.
So I'm gonna go with Sin Cara.
Sin Cara wasn't in the match.
Damn it! Isn't he part of Lucha House Party?
Yeah, but he wasn't one of the two. It was Grand Metalik and the other one.
Then it's Grand Metalik.
Yep.
How did I know that?
Because I said Grand Metalik.
Because you didn't know the other one, but I knew it had to be a guy from.
So he is now your #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. It's also one of the things that they're finally going to push Big E for a singles run.
Carson, everything that you just said would have been a miraculous card for and yes, Hogan Flair was supposed to happen at that card, and the reason why it didn't was because of the stuff going on in '92, which ended up causing them to actually ask Sergeant Slaughter if he wanted to have a run with the title, and he was like, "Of course I do, maggot." And then out of nowhere, they told him he'd be the heel, and he was like, "WTF?"
Yeah.
And he still did it, and to this day, Sarge actually thinks that it was the worst yet best move that he ever made in his career, because he was WWE champion going into WrestleMania.
But it was he was a turncoat on his country, and I think that's probably why he thinks it's the worst. What is this?
Chris, I totally understand that, and the reason why is because they just don't think that they can get the crowd there. And for example, we're Flair country here in North Carolina. Like straight up Flair country. Like every event you go to has a woo going off because Ric Flair recorded all the woos. And yet
Damn hockey game.
And yet what about the damn hockey game? Mr. ruining my hockey experience forever. I love hockey, by the way. And Tino sitting there talking about some damn Netflix TV show.
You had to listen, and you saw the replay. Shut up.
And I missed the greatest goal ever scored. Which, by the way, is called a lacrosse goal.
That was the greatest goal!
And while Connecticut's biggest venue can hold 50,000 plus people.
You just got it.
No. I was there. I'm trying not to. Thanks, Carson. While we know that Connecticut's biggest venue can hold up to 50,000 people, the only thing in Connecticut that can seem to get that many people is the women's basketball team at UConn, and that's not a bad thing.
That's a good thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bang! I'm punchy. I'm sorry.
You are punchy. As soon as midnight rolls around, this guy, like, don't feed him after midnight. He's like a gremlin. But anyways, I did want to talk about tonight's Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I just skipped over a ton of shit, I'm sure.
Why do we have this?
Well, because there's actually stuff on here we want to talk about, and we might as well go ahead and get to. This is the greatest show.
Before that, let's get to the part where I thought you had a heart attack because you were laughing. I thought you said, "Oh, that hurts." But I thought you were like, "Oh, my head."
All right, well, explain it. Explain it to them.
So I had a Mountain Dew bottle, and it was done, and we were sitting there talking. I was like, just being silly. And I went to go hit myself with the plastic, the middle part, but I hit myself with the edge, and I hit myself, and I just went, "Ow!"
It sounded like a Claymore kick. Okay, no lie.
I was like, I went, "Ow!"
It was like,
and it didn't hurt. I said, "Ow!"
And
This fool just started laughing.
Well, no. I waited. I looked at you. I looked away, and then I just couldn't stop
And
laughing.
then he was like, "It hurts," and he turned red. I'm like, oh my God. And he was holding his chest. I'm like, oh my God.
I was holding my belly.
Oh, it scared me.
I was holding my belly.
He had heart surgery. I thought I killed him or something.
See, so Chris Barrett's saying that Connecticut had Undertaker's first appearance in 1990, which, by the way, I don't think we've seen the last of The Undertaker, Chris Barrett. If you haven't watched one of our shows recently, I have said that it is the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker at Survivor Series, so I do believe we will get an appearance and a choke slam, if not a tombstone.
Because my favorite thing to point out is he said it is about time for the Cowboy. He never said he was. He said it's about time.
Correct. He said it's about time for the Cowboy to ride off into the sunset.
All right. What are we got on this paper? What?
You don't think that he'll go out at Survivor Series? I don't think it'll be the end of him. I think that we'll get an appearance by him.
Yeah, I really think he'll go out at WrestleMania.
Well, I think that he's going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you actually have the Undertaker go into the Hall of Fame unless he rides the motorcycle in, and then he goes like this, and then you see the lights come down to purple, and you get the lightning strike, and he just walks off. He doesn't even give like a speech. Like, that'd be badass. So I want to talk about who has the skinnier jeans on.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it Karen? Mega Karen, mind you, Two Belts Bailey, or Dominic Mysterio? Which one?
I didn't see Bailey's, and I couldn't concentrate on the show because you kept hollering. You were admiring his skinny jeans. I don't know why you.
It was not admiration. It was not. No, I was afraid.
Bailey.
Chris, I'm going to tell you right now.
He's like, he doesn't work on his legs. Look at his legs.
I was like, he skips every leg day. Every. Like his dad, who's 5'3", has bigger legs than him. I'm telling you. Like, the kendo stick that he was swinging at Seth Rollins was thicker than his legs. It's never the man who was. I don't know. Go back and watch Monday Night Raw tonight, Chris Barrett.
Because then we got the greatest show. That's
okay.
So.
Okay.
You start, and I came in with the greatest show.
No. Before we do that.
Okay.
WTF, Mark Henry?
Oh God.
You keep showing up backstage. You didn't even have a salmon jacket on. What? Why do we care?
I don't.
Well, all day. We've been thinking, Mark Henry's backstage. Mark Henry's backstage. We're going to get Mark Henry and MVP talking about the Nation of Domination.
Why? Because MVP wasn't in the Nation of Domination.
Nope. But he is in the Hurt Locker, or whatever he calls it.
Hurt Locker. The Hurt Business.
The Hurt Locker's a better name.
Well, you're not writing, so they wrote this Hurt Business.
The Hurt Locker was a
movie, and they don't want that's copyright. So.
But it was a movie that won an Oscar.
Okay, but still, that's copyright
infringement. MVP doesn't have an Oscar. He should have called it the Hurt Locker.
Read your paper.
But anyways, there's all this talk about a Nation of Domination 2.0. Maybe not even be called a Nation of Domination, but you see Mark Henry backstage, and all he's doing is.
Well, maybe, like I said, I'm telling you, they might be building up. They're not going to bust out with it, this week. They started slowly because I didn't pick it up, but you did at the end of that match with Bobby Lashley and
Mufasa Ali.
Oh my God!
That's what made me laugh my ass off. It wasn't you hitting your head. It was when all.
No, that was after. That was funny.
It literally was when R-Truth is sitting there having a conversation with Mustafa Ali, and all of a sudden like he just goes, did he just call me Mufasa? And I sat there and I listened to him call him Mufasa, and nothing happened until he actually said, did he just call me Mufasa? And then I got red. I started almost crying, laughing. R-Truth is definitely the best thing to happen on WWE television in a long time.
But getting back to the Bobby Lashley and Mufasa match, after the match, I said Mufasa, didn't I?
You did.
Mustafa. Dang it. But you noticed it. I didn't notice it. That he did the whole after the match.
He went like this, and it had me thinking. Bobby Lashley starting to call out the Nation of Domination.
Ooh. New Jack. I don't think they.
No, they won't.
They bring New Jack in.
So here's the thing: they're not going to bring back New Jack.
I think D'Lo is with Impact anyway, isn't
he? He's with one of the other ones, but he's done wrestling.
Super
MVP, R-Truth, and Mark Henry. No, unfortunately not. It's definitely going to be Shelton Benjamin. It's going to be MVP. It's going to be Bobby Lashley.
I'm thinking either at least one more, maybe two more people. I'm thinking, like I said, I told you tonight, I think it might be Ricochet
and Cedric Alexander. As a tag team, I think that they and after they lost again tonight, it could be something where
and
we actually
could and no, not even and. Remember?
Nia Jax. That's
no. It's somebody you wouldn't expect, and it's right in front of your face. Remember when Rocky died? He got hurt. He left. He came back. He came back as a member of the Nation of Domination.
Owen Hart's dead, dude.
No. Who's hurt? And you won't even expect him to join because he's been fighting them, but he comes back and joins. What if Apollo comes back and joins them, and they do them? That'd be a swerve.
Oh, totally.
That'd be a swerve.
Totally.
Nobody's expecting.
However, I could actually see, you were talking about this. Who was Mark Henry talking to at the beginning? Two people.
I watched it. I don't remember.
One was Ruby Riott. The other was Bianca Belair.
Oh, yeah.
What about Bianca Belair being part of a new Nation of Domination? I could see that.
She go for the Women's Championship.
Oh, I could just see her jumping in and someone like MVP actually being the manager and causing people to lose to her. Which would get her into the...
She could be the China of the Nation.
So we're going to talk about this anyway. So we're going to talk about the greatest show. So...
And I did part two, said she jumped into Michael Jackson's closet and just stretched out all his clothes.
She literally looked like she was the
Sasha.
No, I wasn't talking about Sasha. I was talking about Bianca Belair. But yes, Sasha would be a perfect member. In fact, she would be the leader of that group right now. Like, I could totally see Sasha Banks becoming the leader of MVP's group and being the new Rock, where all of a sudden, like, she's like, I got everybody a gift.
Shut up.
And she gives everybody Rolex watches, like Bobby Lashley gets a Rolex. Shelton Benjamin gets a Rolex. And then she goes up to MVP and she's like, I got you the perfect gift. A picture of Sasha Banks. Like, dude, they rehash stories all the time, but that is a story that if they rehashed with Sasha Banks as the head of it, so over. So over. Like, just, but we are talking about the greatest show. Nia Jax came out, said that she doesn't care who wins the match between Sasha, between Asuka, blah, blah, blah. And she obviously looks like the character played by Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman. As Tino kept saying and singing. But then something happened. A couple weeks ago, we got told that Vince was not high on Shayna Baszler. And Shayna Baszler came out and threw men around. So it was like, and of course, my favorite part of that was Akira Tozawa was looking at her and going, I'm out.
Perfect English.
I'm out. Dumping out of the ring, and then of course, R-Truth sitting there going, I'm just gonna hand you this, and I'm gonna see myself out. And he got out of the ring too because he did not want to get thrown around by her, and instantly, Shayna Baszler was more over than she had been since her time in NXT, where she was straight up over.
Oh, dude.
Like to the moon, right? So we got because Bully Ray was asked on Busted Open Radio, "Are you excited about anything on Monday Night Raw tonight?" And he goes, "No, I'm interested, but I'm not excited." And this instantly, as soon as it came up, I looked at Tino, I paused the DVR, and I said, "This could be something that excites me." And then what happened?
All out brawl. Shayna Baszler comes out.
And yeah, well, no, that's what I was saying. Shayna Baszler came out. The two of them like locked up. They started beating each other. They have a match. Match doesn't even get started.
Because they brawled all around ringside.
It
did start. They got counted out.
They got counted out. And then out of nowhere, some random ginger hops in the ring, has his shirt ripped over his head, thrown out, like just nudged out of the ring, like not even like pushed anything else.
Because Shayna put that dude in the sleeper and then just chucked him out of the ring.
Yeah, and then Nia Jax just sits there and like goes, "Get out of the ring," like.
But we also discussed too, because we know that Nia has a reputation of being too stiff, and I even said we both said that if she gets stiff with Baszler if she wants to, Baszler will give her a receipt. She said Baszler's not going to play that.
Yeah, and it looked like a couple receipts were given.
Yes, they threw some potatoes. Those were somebody's got knots because they weren't holding back.
They got some baked potatoes.
Yeah.
Someone's got to give them some butter for them baked potatoes. Man, that was the greatest show.
Those were the greatest blows.
Those were the greatest potatoes. Oh, you guys are gonna hate us.
Yeah.
So we've already talked about Mufasa Ali and Bobby Lashley, and I gotta tell you, I personally felt that the match was completely unbelievable.
And I disagree with you. They can't have him out that long because they're going to try to push him. They can't have him out that long and have him get squashed. They have to make him look strong.
Well,
and I'm not saying he should have beat Bobby. You're right. There's no way it would have been believable that he beat Bobby, but they couldn't have a squash match. He needed to.
But he shouldn't.
He needed to hang with Lashley a little bit.
He shouldn't have even faced off against Lashley. He has no chance of beating Bobby Lashley when Bobby Lashley isn't hurt. Like, if Bobby Lashley walked out there with one arm tied behind his back and one knee not able to move, he's still going to beat Mustafa Ali.
But they couldn't put him against...
But they could put him against Shelton Benjamin.
But he wouldn't look strong. That match they had with him and Bobby, for him to hang with Bobby Lashley, they made him look strong. You just said, if they'd have put him against Shelton, it would have looked believable. He had a shot. Against Shelton. He had a shot of beating Shelton.
Which would have made him look strong, even if the other two were out at the ring.
I'm telling you.
It would have made him look strong.
I think it was the perfect match.
I think it was terrible.
It's a pay-per-view every week.
I wish it was a pay-per-view every week.
Some of those matches aren't pay-per-view quality.
Yeah, no. When you get, like...
Now you say that about NXT.
Now you look at Buddy Murphy versus who did Buddy Murphy face off against?
Tonight he was against Humberto Carrillo.
Yeah, and that match was not
the
high
best
quality.
Match I've ever seen Buddy Murphy had. We saw it live. Was him
and Cedric Alexander. Yeah, absolutely. Like those guys going for the Cruiserweight Championship live was. Chris, I agree with it being 3 hours, and in fact, one of the things that I told Tino we need to start doing is actually counting the amount of total wrestlers used on a program on Monday Night Raw, just to see whether or not it actually makes sense to be 3 hours long. Because right now, I would either cut it down to 2 hours, or what I would do is I would put an hour at the beginning, so the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock hour, I would make cruiserweights only. I would make it 205 Live. I don't think so. I think that what you'd finally start doing is having people understand who the cruiserweights are. Yeah. You know, maybe that's what I would do, because you have the talent to do it. They just don't.
Well, and you also said too, and I didn't hear this, that you said Vince is now looking to
push new talent,
which he should have been doing all along.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not that is something that he does.
Well, it's like he's trying because right now who won the tag team, the triple threat tonight.
Yeah, but those guys have been pushed. Like friggin' Aquaman ended up beating Kevin Owens a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but I think he's getting more serious about pushing that. And I think too that's why he's bringing Shayna back.
Well, I think that's why we got Mustafa Ali back. I think that's why Shelton Benjamin's actually getting a push. Like Shelton Benjamin hadn't won a singles match. By the way, congratulations, Shelton Benjamin, for winning your first singles match on Monday Night Raw since 2006, a couple weeks ago. We missed it,
but that's
we
not
wanted
really,
to let you know
but
that.
that's not really pushing a new talent. I think now if they use Shelton to push new talent, that'd be a totally different story. You know what I mean?
Chris Barrett, just so you know, NXT is now 2 hours long on Wednesday nights on USA.
Is it 2
Um,
hours long?
Yeah, it's 8 to 10. Now,
You're right.
If you watch it on the network on Friday, it's been cut down to about an hour and a half because there's no commercials, which is why I still think that when we look at it compared to ratings and everything else, NXT probably still has more viewers than AEW overall on the most important numbers of the entire week, which people don't really take into account. Carson, you could probably tell me if I'm right here. That is going to be the ratings plus 7 data, which is all of the streaming data on top of it. Because let's remember, NXT is also on Hulu.
Yes.
So it's on Hulu and it's also on the network. When you watch it on the network, it's without commercials. When you watch it on Hulu, it's 90 minutes with a couple commercials. But either way, it's probably getting more overall viewers in a 7-day period than
and they're cutting.
AEW.
I noticed too when they put it on, they do cut some stuff out of the show.
On Hulu.
Yeah.
Yes, that's because Hulu cuts it down to 90 minutes plus commercials.
Yeah.
Whereas WWE Network, you're paying the $10 a month, so you're not getting the. Although now, I don't know if NXT is actually included in the free version. Like, we're
I
gonna
don't have the free version.
We're gonna have to check.
I pay for that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that out at some point. So. Yes, Chris Barrett on Hulu. NXT is 1 hour. You're right. I did get that wrong. The other programs are both 90 minutes. Did we have anything else? New Nation, still no Mark Henry. Yeah.
Orton Drew, and then the top thing. I think we didn't even start.
Oh.
We didn't even mention that. That was the top thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it was the top. So you know what? We don't really need to talk about Orton Drew yet because we barely got the beginning of it. We got for those that haven't watched Raw yet, watch the beginning, watch the very end. You'll get the Orton Drew story.
This is what I want to close up with.
Yeah. So
save the best for last.
Last Thursday.
And I didn't see it until you, and I hadn't heard about it until you told me when I got here tonight.
Yeah, last Thursday, Adam Cole, who recently lost the NXT Championship, did a surprise appearance, not really surprise, it was set up ahead of time, of the Pat McAfee show. And the whole wrestling world has been looking at this and going, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a work? Is it a shoot?
When you showed me, I'm like, I thought it was a work.
I only showed Tino the exact moment that Adam Cole blew up on Pat McAfee. However, we then watched a 10-minute interview between Pat McAfee and Triple H, which happened today on Triple H's birthday. Happy birthday, H. He's 35 for like the 15th straight time.
Yeah.
Like Tino.
I swear I'm going to punch you in the throat.
But Triple H looked like he was doing a lot of back talking to kind of settle the situation down. So, for those that don't know, for those that don't know, Adam Cole was on the Pat McAfee show. Pat McAfee sat there and said, Adam Cole's never done anything by himself to get over. And Adam Cole blew up and said, I've never done anything. I was the longest reigning NXT World Champion. And then he said, go F yourself.
It was just something on his size. I think that's what pissed him off.
Pat McAfee then said, oh, come on, you're small. And Adam Cole ended up saying, I'm small, you're a punter. Like, you never did anything to help your teams win. You were a punter. And then he said, "Is that really where we're gonna go?" And then he threw the microphone down and he started dropping f-bombs and everything else. And he said, "Screw this place," pushed the producer, and then walked off the thing, and had everybody wondering.
I thought it was a work.
Did you after the Triple H interview?
Kinda.
It looked like you can't really trust a Triple H interview because he's well, that's true.
So what?
He's an executive. You're right, except for the fact that this wasn't a WWE program.
It's actually the Pat McAfee show.
It's the Pat McAfee show, which I believe is like a Florida-based, or not Florida, Northeastern-based radio program. Anyways, Triple H goes on there and he said, "Hey, listen, here's the thing. Adam Cole made an apology," which, by the way, Adam Cole did apologize to his fans.
Yeah, they actually showed it, and we paused it and read the apology. Never once did he apologize
to his
to
fans.
Pat McAfee.
Never to Pat McAfee or the guy he pushed or the stuff he broke, because he broke a microphone
and a headset.
And like I said, he dropped a bunch of F-bombs. But Adam Cole ended up saying, and I'm paraphrasing, "I apologize to my fans. I never should have acted that way."
And he said, "I apologize to anybody I offended."
For anybody that I offended, which is his fans. You know, they don't. I should never act that way. Yes, I agree, Chris. Triple H would be covering for any event that went on, and that's why I'm wondering whether or not it's a work or a shoot, because Triple H went onto the program after Adam Cole went ahead and posted his apology to his supporters, and Triple H said that when you take two guys who have a lot of testosterone and a lot going on, and Adam Cole may still be a little bit bitter about the fact that he lost the NXT Championship, when you have those guys and you have a guy like Pat McAfee who likes to jab and might be doing it in a playful and fun way, ultimately what's going to happen is someone's going to get butthurt.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened. I think that you're right. I think that Cole had a lot going on, and he probably still is pissed off about losing that title. And I think too, you have a lot of these wrestlers that are Cole's size, and I'm sure he's heard all his career that you're small, and I think he was already in a bad mood.
Well, they went through the past week where there were people sitting there saying that Adam Cole really needs to. You know, we heard it last week when Jim Cornette's show was sitting there saying that Adam Cole needs to put on some upper body weight because right now his girlfriend looks like she's got a bigger upper body.
Yeah, so and I think he probably heard that, and I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back, and he blew up.
And that's just it. If it was a work, Triple H wouldn't be backstepping. This is why I said to Tino, Chris Barrett, that I said that it sounded like Adam Cole went into business for himself, maybe even with Pat McAfee on board to do it, to kind of draw up some interest during a week that was really big for pro wrestling. You had the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which some people said the Swamp match was great. Some people sat there and said other matches were okay on it. But then you also had the Impact pay-per-view, which had the Good Brothers show up, Heath Miller show up, EC3 show up. The next night you had Eric Young show up, Rich Swann show up. The next night you ended up having Kurt Hawkins show up, whatever he's going by now, Brian, whatever his last name is, going by now. You had all this big stuff going on in pro wrestling. And Adam Cole, who was the longest reigning NXT champion, kind of left in the dark. Didn't have anything going on. Like, nobody knows what's going on with him right now.
The second part of that is that if it was a shoot, Cole would have been suspended. Now, McAfee did ask Triple H if he was fine or everything happened, and Triple H made a point of saying that's between
us.
Myself.
Yeah.
So.
But here's the big thing. Vince McMahon does not like when the bar fight was great. I didn't see any of the other matches, or the Extreme matches. Yeah.
Listen, man.
Vince McMahon if you go into business for yourself and he has no intentions of putting a match on, gets furious. This happened a couple weeks ago when Tommaso Ciampa and Randy Orton started having a jaw jack on Twitter. And there was no idea of putting this match on, and suddenly the fans were rabid for it. And we got a little taste of it at Survivor Series, and of course Tommaso Ciampa is kind of in a dark spot right now too. He doesn't know what's going on with him. Randy obviously is at the top of his game, gonna be facing Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam.
But what if?
But no. We know. Like, let's just continue this for a moment.
All right.
Vince wanted nothing to do with that match. He's like, I'm not promoting that match. You two need to stop. Why the hell would you ever say anything like that? And it got squashed. It was done. Like, there is no more Tommaso Ciampa versus Randy Orton talk. Like, it's over. Pat McAfee, Adam Cole, if there's no match on the cards from Vince McMahon, now, maybe in NXT, Triple H has some power there.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's no match on the cards, any way, shape, or form, Triple H has to go up and backpedal on it, because Vince McMahon was like, what the hell just happened here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you let your guy do that? And due to that, that's where you end up having this whole idea that this may have been a shoot, that Adam Cole may have literally lost his cool. And I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's okay to be human in
Yes.
these moments.
Yes.
Vince doesn't like when the fans go against him. Well, that's very true, but they do it all the time, and he doesn't care. He's a 74-year-old man who runs his business the way that he wants to. It's like an episode of SVU. You know, like anytime you see... Anytime you see the old man on that show, it's always, I'm going to run my business the way that I want to. You're not going to tell me how to... And it's like, hey, that's Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the way it is. Sorry, starting to lose my voice again. This seems to happen.
It's about that time.
It is about that time. Tino, what else you got? Because you wanted to say something there. What if Tommaso Ciampa, Randy Orton? What if Ciampa ends up causing Randy Orton to lose against Drew McIntyre?
Or Drew or Orton does win the title. They call Ciampa up and Ciampa wins the title from Orton. They work a program.
I think
Since
that
he wants to push young talent.
I think that the way that you see, unfortunately, Chris Barrett, Vince McMahon does run the business. Not everybody agrees with it. In fact, if you listen to Busted Open Radio last week and actually listen to the Eric Young interview, Eric Young goes very candid about the fact that he always wanted a contract with the WWE, and when he finally got one,
So I'm going back to TNA.
WWE made a mistake with him. Flat out says it multiple times. WWE made a mistake with Eric Young. Because Eric Young can do anything. He can be the babyface. He can be the heel. He can be extreme. He can be a worker. He can be
Comedic.
He can be comedy. He can be straight laced, and he can be angry. And right now he's very angry. You know, and he's very angry in a good way. It's the guy hadn't been used more than 5 matches in 2 years.
It's a waste.
And during that time, like when he came back to TNA, Impact, he was able to go in and take bumps when he hadn't taken bumps in 2 years, and it's just impressive.
And he's in the title picture.
I don't know if he's going to continue to be in the title picture, but then again, I think everybody in Impact is in the title picture right now. With that said, Tino, I don't have my watch on. I don't know what time it is. This is the greatest show! What time is it?
12:38.
12:38.
Yeah, we gotta bust this one.
Whew. It was a good show.
It was a real good show.
I had a fun time. Chris Barrett, Carson,
Thank you, gentlemen. Like I
Really
said,
enjoyed it?
Anytime, dude. We love this. See, this it made the show go by quicker.
It did. However, we didn't get to talk about half of our topics, but it doesn't matter.
It's still a rush to the
Like
show.
The Rock would used to say, it doesn't matter if you hit your topics.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the greatest show.
Folks, you can find him on Twitter. No.
I have to key it up.
No.
I have to key it.
You can find him at Twitter, Rob Potchak. You can find him on Instagram.
Rob Potchak.
Rob Potchak.
It's Potchak on Twitter.
Because I'm trying to rush.
No, go ahead. Just do it.
Because you can find me on Twitter, HootieFan91 on Instagram. I'm SC Tino as always.
See, I even backed up.
We want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for our theme song, the wrestling song, which you can buy on iTunes for 99 cents. And as always,
I didn't hit it yet. Would you just keep talking?
You know when the music starts, they can't hear us anymore, right?
On this one, you're right. But that's why I was letting you finish.
As always, folks, we can hear Ric Flair in Charlotte in that big house on the hill, and he is saying, "Woo!" Good night, folks. Peace.
Everybody wants to be the next boy, but I am the man of the hour, the tower of power, too sweet to be sour. Thank you, scream, oh, like Jared Flower. There have been many imitations, but only one nature born. I am the greatest thing going today. Whether you like it or not, you better learn to love it, because whether you like it or not, I am the greatest of all time. Woo! Tony Schiavone, to be the man, you've got to be the man, and I am